All right, we're going to talk about bringing in Foley sound into a dramatic piece. Well, let me play the piece, just the pure visual. It'll appear up here. And start it down here. Fit the screen. So this is that piece we recorded of someone walking across the screen. With the silent part, you can't really hear anything, but there's a gun, there's crying, there's laughter, there's footsteps right there, footsteps. There's a gunshot, perhaps, depending on how you want to do the sound. You can use things like freesound.org to get sounds, or YouTube has quite an extensive sound library. But I often like to go out and record my own sounds, like, for example, the screen door that opens right here. That closing the screen door, and over here is the opening of it. So that's actually the screen door from our cabin up at Lake of the Woods. So I oftentimes carry a recorder around with me, even my phone. And if I hear an interesting sound, I'll just record it, because I like to have more original sound if I can. And that's always a good approach. So now let me let you hear what I've done with this piece. You're going to have a chance to do the same thing or similar thing with this piece. It's 30 seconds long, so it's not hard. You can see right here, first of all, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize the space up here with the room below. Option plus will give my my various pieces as much room as I can, because I want to optimize with the sound. Now, I could also be over in Audition doing this. But for right now, I just want to work right here in the audio panel of Premiere Pro. So notice, though, I've planned out that he's going to come in and he's going to be walking in. And so each time he walks, I've marked the footsteps here with markers. That's simply the letter M typed, and that'll place a new marker either up in the piece, or if I have the piece selected, it'll place it right there. Get rid of those markers. I like to use markers to help me understand where to place things, particularly things like footsteps, hand gestures, picking up a cup, setting down a cup, any of those kind of sounds that you want to pick up or match. Hands clapping, hands touching, punching sounds. When you see a punch, mark the punch. Then you put the sound right over it, because when you look at the sound visually, you can see the peaks. Like, here's the gun cock right here, right? And the gunshot is right there. So you want to take advantage of that. So this is the whole piece, and I'll show you the pieces the way it put together. Now I've all the solos turned off.
Have you come to put me out of my misery?
So, like, if you notice there, I'll hit home to go back to home. If you notice there, I bookended that piece with laughter at either side. I wanted to use the laughter to feel young girls laughing, so it made the guy feel like maybe that's what he was upset about or crying about as they were teasing him. And as he goes in and out of the doors activate the laughter in and out. So the cut points on the laughter go right down there. Now, first of all, let me just solo this and show you what I built up. First thing I did is I put in these water drops, which sound like a cave or some dark place. So it makes it sound like a basement or something. There's an echo put on them, very slight echo or reverb, which then gives you a room volume of it. So that's what's in there, is the sound first of droplets, just to give a sense of atmosphere and space to it. It kind of makes it have a feeling. Next, I'm going to solo this with the sound of wind. So I added a recording of wind onto it. So now that's just the atmosphere. That's to get a foundation down low. Both of these are turned down. They're not terribly loud down here in the 42, down in these lower ranges. But they serve to make that workable. Now, if I add in the kids' laughter, you'll hear that next piece right here. So the kids' laughter is there, as well as the line, "You came to put me out of my misery."
Have you come to put me out of my misery?
So that's all built right in there. Then I added in the I think it's the fall to the ground and the clothing rustling as he turns. So there's a hoons as he turns away. You could put in lots of. The thing is, you want sound to be very clean. You want to be very specific sounds that the person's hearing and can pick out. So something like the rustling of clothing as he turns. It feels like as he's turning, he's pulled his jacket across his pants or something. It sounds like a sound. And of course, the sound of the body hitting the ground, gives you that sound right after the gunshot that the guy fell to the ground. So then let's solo. I'm going to take out these other ones and solo the footsteps and also some whooshes and gun cocking. So I put that all in the same track. So notice I had him walk off screen, and then the last two steps were shorter and closer together. As you can see right here, these two steps here, so it sounded like he was stopping. The next ones continue walking to the next scene, stops, cocks the gun, continues onward. And then there's two louder steps as he turns. So there's slightly louder steps placed right here that have him turning. And that was a whoosh as he turned his neck. It's a very subtle little sound. So just when he's turning, and that's after the line, you take me out of my misery, and he turns his head away and back. And so this whoosh, it's barely there. But it has a very nice kind of emotional feeling with it a little bit. And then, of course, more concrete walking out. Then we have the kids, the screen door, and the laughter of the characters. The little cry, his little cry here. And the hat going on, that's a very specific sound. See, it's another kind of fold of fabric as the hat goes on. So what you want to do is you want to create the sound that interacts as much as you can with the signal, and it gets the viewer to focus on individual elements. You really want that powerful individual elements. So then it gives a kind of a silly little kiss to the gun. Turns and shoots. Now I just have this all soloed and out to the screen, but let me go ahead and unsolo it, and we'll play it from the beginning to end, and you can kind of see what I built. Now I want you to take your own advantage, your own creativity with this. You can do whatever you want in any way you want, but I want you to make this sound more cinematic. So what we're doing is we're creating a soundscape. So here we go.
Have you come to put me out of my misery?
All right. So there we have it. Enough of that. So go forth and create and have fun. Basically, what I was using over here for a lot of these effects, like the baby crying stuff, is I'm right here in the dialogue, music, special effects. Here's effects I can add in. Things like reverb. If I add the reverb in, I can click and go light reverb, heavy reverb. Now, I don't have to do it this way. This is the essential sound panel. I can come over here to the effects window. So I do have audio transitions and audio effects. So I could come down here and type in reverb, and then I could come up with a basic reverb, convolution reverb. Convolution reverb will make things sound like they're further away. I actually use that on the crying and some of the other things. I think these pieces. So I would take that convolution and put it over the crying scene, and now see how that really lowers it. Actually makes it sound more like his hand is muffling it. Hear that sound? And I can go in here and take that the reverb and do a custom setup or a remap, or change the individual parameters, the gain and mix, to turn it up or down, or to bypass it if I want to bypass it entirely. So that's basically it. There's lots of other reverb. I mean, reverb is the most common one to use in this situation because you're trying to add depth and distance, or to give a sense of a space, of a room size or room tone. Here's studio reverb, surround reverb. There is so many cool things you can do with sound. It's something you can explore for a great long time. So have fun with it, and enjoy.